Sailor Tarot Magic is the spot to get a reading from Sally, an intuitive healer and tarot reader. Known as the Nurturing Reader at New Jersey street fairs, you can also check out our YouTube channel for lunar and astro readings, as well as our Instagram for live weekly readings. Her rates are affordable, and you will leave with a newfound perspective. Sally is now offering an introductory class on tarot cards and intuition, and is available for parties. Call or text 732-314-0777 to schedule your reading today.
Hello and welcome to the Windy City here tonight for the Up There Disc Golf 180 as we continue on the carousel of Midwest racetracks for the chase for the championship in the Below the Double Yellow Racing League. Looking forward to a good one here tonight at this old and bumpy and worn out speedway measuring 1.5 miles, and it is a kind of continuous curve type oval. Very interesting cookie cutter NASCAR track, no longer in use. At least on the current schedule, but it's good to be back here and with the BTDY Racing League and the Xfinity machines tonight for the third race of this season's chase for the championship. My name is Adam Baker. I'm joined up here in the booth by Alec Martinez. Alec, got a good race and championship firmly in the hands of Jeff Wright right now, but can somebody upset him tonight and get their first win of the chase?
It's possible. I think Jeff's been so good. This is a track he tends to dominate it at, so I think obviously Jeff Wright is going to be the driver to beat here tonight. But nonetheless, you never know. Last week he had a chance, looked like he was running away with it, but then had to work for it at Iowa. So expect some green flag runs here tonight, which should play in the hands of the 48 car, but you just never know. We've seen the difference of cautions come out, so this race could be crazy. You just never know what's possible, what can happen here at Chicago.
Yeah, it was a really interesting race last week. Like you said, it looked like he was running away with it, and ended up it being a bit of a shootout there at the end for a few drivers who were able to have a shot at it. Tonight, a little bit different story than Iowa, where we were last week. This is Chicagoland Speedway, 1.5 miles the distance here. A lot higher speeds than we'll see at Iowa from last week. So different set of skills for some of these drivers, and we've seen some of the same names though still emerging at the top of the qualifying charts, and some of those drivers also up there in the championship hunt as well. As we take a look at the points coming into tonight's race, Jeff Wright, 8 wins on the season. He's won both of the chase races. Ronnie Osmer comes in second in the standings, 43 back. Keith Mayato, who was up there in the running, battling for the win last week, took a big hit in the points. He falls now to third. Brody Hayes, who's been quick here so far tonight, fourth. tied with Chris Samard and Ray Massey right there, close in tow inside the top 6 in the standings. But yeah, then a few drivers still in contention to get up there, maybe finish top 5 on the season. James Loveland, Dallas Sullivan, Noah Mahalski, Dennis Faircloth, Cody Adkins, all going to be fighting for a top 5 or top 10 championship finish. So could be a little bit of a shake-up in the points after tonight. We've got a good size field, which is nice to see as the drivers are out here putting down some qualifying laps. Jeff Wright currently on the racetrack.
Looking like a pole run here for Jeff Wright.
Yeah, as we take a look here, the 48 machine on pace to put down a huge lap. Currently 10th quickest on lap number 1. We'll see what he can do here on lap number 2.
Oh, yeah.
And that is...
Oh, second.
Second quick, Keith Mayato. We've seen Keith grab a few poles this season. Actually, might have the majority even. Currently fastest by just about a half tenth. So really great lap there by the 36. Logan Threlkeld on the racetrack tonight. No, he's had some internet connection problems. Hopefully they hold up for him here, as he is in the winter themed VSPEED machine number 54.
Well, if any of the internet issues do happen to bite them here tonight, remember and obviously for those that are just tuning in watching, it's Tuesday. You know, every now and then it's a very interesting one, and today was an iRacing build day. So a lot of new things, a lot of new features coming out, and one of those features is a connection issue. If you do have a connection issue, it'll immediately throw you to the pits. It won't. I guess from what I remember seeing and reading, it will not affect you in terms of kicking you out immediately. It'll give you a chance, but it'll automatically reset you to the pits. We've seen Jeff Wright have some issues with connections as well. That could be a story being in this race and what could happen. So you just never know, but wanted to throw that out. And we know, look at the race now, it's 120 laps, 5 sets of tires available, 80% fuel. Would expect this to most likely be cut this race in a third, similar to what we saw at Kansas. But it'll be very interesting to see. Any caution could throw a wrench into that, and tires are going to be of a plenty if we get a slew of cautions going.
Yeah, you're definitely going to want to put tires on after a yellow flag comes out. Qualifying wrapping up now. Keith Mayato looks like he will get the pole. And yeah, it's going to be big for Keith to try and earn some points here. It's not completely out of his hands, this championship, but I think if anybody's got a fight to take to the 48, it's probably going to be that 36 machine. We'll have to see what he's able to do here if he can grab a victory, which would be his first in the chase. As we go trackside now, let's take a look at our starting grid. Up front, it is going to be the 36 machine of Keith Mayato, and Jeff Wright going to join him right there on the front row. So he's not getting away that easily, but Jeff Wright looking for his 9th win of the season. Keith looking for his 4th victory. Brody Hayes is going to be looking for his first. He'll roll off from the 3rd position. Chris Samard, his teammate, going to start in the 4th spot. Ronnie Osmer rolling off from the 5th position. Noah Mahalski starting in 6th here tonight. Starting in 7th tonight, it's going to be Max Cost, and rolling off 8th, it'll be Dennis Faircloth in number 80 machine, who was strong at Iowa in the opening stages last week. James Loveland rolling off from the 9th spot here tonight, and Logan Threlkeld going to round out the top 10.
And driver making his first start, another driver making their first start this week, it's Eldon Stewart. In the 4-car starting 11th, Michael Jones will roll off 12th. Ray Massey rolls off 13th. 14th will be Cody Atkins. I am not starting 15th, I can tell you that. But that means Dallas Sullivan will be starting 16th. Alan Dice will actually move up to 15th. And then I'll move to the next row, which will be Todd Giles. And then Jake Mackey will roll off in 18th. Giles will move up to 17th. But he does get the 19th fastest time, or 19th supposed time, I guess. But it'll be a very interesting one and what will happen. And you know, Adam, I tell you what, it's good to be back in the booth up here with you. And Chicago, man, it's a little bit cooler than I would have hoped to see. 88 degrees, a little overcast here. I think it's gonna be interesting to see how that changes, how that track will change, because we know this track can get wide.
Yeah, we saw the temperature up over 95 degrees earlier, and looks like the cloud cover coming out, at least for the moment, has brought that back down. When the cars get rolling, that track temp may kick up just a little bit more, as we are starting to get going, or thought we were. Keith Mayato, there we go.
Brody Hayes is getting out of the way. Remember, another thing for everybody watching, Brody Hayes had a penalty for switching lanes on the restart. Was
Ah, yes.
that he did switch lanes late, and that it wasn't brought up until post race, so he didn't end up getting a penalty for it. Nothing post race, but he does unfortunately have to go to the back because of that. So he will see him have to make a charge up to the field. Got to bide his time here, so that'll move everybody on the inside row up another row. And you know, I feel like we're not giving a lot of credit and enough credit to Ronnie Osborne, who's second in points.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hasn't won a race this year, but Ronnie being in second, he's been very consistent and getting good finishes. I know Keith Mayato had his troubles, and realistically, if Jeff Wright didn't exist, the battle for the championship would be unreal. But beside the point, Jeff Wright does exist, and he's way ahead. These guys need a bad race out of Wright, and these guys need a good race if Wright has any trouble. And that could be the night.
Yeah, Ronnie has been very strong. He's been trying alternate strategies as well. Things nearly went his way last week at Iowa. We'll see if they can fall his way tonight at Chicagoland. Alec, who's your pick coming into tonight's race?
If it's not Jeff Wright, I don't know. He's going for 3 in a row here. He's been historically dominant in here. There's no Seth Hatchell to compete with him. Give me Jeff Wright to win this race.
All right, I'm going to go with Noah Mahalski to maybe grab a sneaky win here. He starts 6th. Green flag is out. We're off and away from Chicagoland. Side-by-side battle into turn 3, off of turn 4. Wright's going to keep it wound up on the top side. Who's going to lead lap number 1? It is Keith Mayato at the stripe, but the 48 charging hard up on the top side. Going to try and wheel it up by the barriers. Got to be careful up there. It's so close.
Wow. A lot of grip up there. I don't think Keith's going to have anything to do with this.
Wow.
The field doesn't want to see the 48 get clean air early. And Jeff Wright just powered around Keith Mayato there in turns 1 and 2, and now you can just give dirty air to the 36, and the 36 won't really have much to answer with. Now you just got to save tires, hope you can get him back in the long run.
Yeah, you can't run the top side too long. Ooh, big bobble there over the transition to the apron. That's going to be an interesting thing to watch as well for some of these drivers who use that extra running room down on the bottom. You can use it, but you'll see the tire wear creep up just a little bit more if you decide to do that. How about Dennis Faircloth now going to the outside of Ronnie Osmer?
He's utilizing that outside lane, but I can tell you right now, that's probably not going to be the best for his tires. And I think we've seen him have such good pace on the short run. I think he could just reel it in a little bit here. Get the track position, then get back down to the bottom, save your tires, save your stuff. Then you can hold track position a lot better once you just go out there and burn your tires off like that. You're just not going to get anywhere in the long run here. Right now, he's got really good pace. He's a 2/10 faster than the top 2, but, you know, unless he gets a quick caution, it's going to be hard for him to be able to keep this pace up all run.
You can see him riding over those bumps. That is kind of a notorious feature here, Chicagoland Speedway. These cars have been bottoming out a lot recently in some of these Midwest races, Kansas and Iowa. We saw a lot of bottoming out, affecting the handling. Car kind of just goes straight once it hits some of those bumps, but yeah, look at Dennis Faircloth. He has made up a ton of ground, and he's trying to keep things entertaining, at least, running that top side. We'll go on board with him.
If I'm Keith Mayato, I'd just let the 80 go and let him go have a shot at Jeff Wright here. Here he comes to the outside of Mayato here. He's going to get by on the pressures. Can he keep up the pace is the question. I think if you're Keith, and I think we'll see Keith do it here. He'll probably just let the 80 go here off of turn 2, and then can go and get past Jeff Wright here and put 48 in some dirty air.
Yeah, and I think Jeff may be seeing that the 80 is coming, but here goes Dennis Faircloth down to the inside, trying to take the lead away. And he's going to send it down low. Jeff Wright keeping it wound up, though.
He got over the bumps hard there. Now Dennis is going to be on the inside here. Jeff really pushed the issue there on the bottom. He just mixed, or I guess middle lane, and he did go a little bit wide there. And this time now he'll go back down to the outside. Keith Mayato is liking this because he's got somebody to push Jeff Wright. And I think you can tell the clean air matters to the 48. He wants to keep it, but Dennis Faircloth wants the lead. And I think Jeff brushed the wall there.
He did. I heard a little bit of the safer barrier crunch that you'll get when they make contact. And speaking of the safer barriers and making contact, turn 4, right where they're on track. That part of the track really narrows up. It comes at you quick, and you don't really expect that at a big, wide, mile-and-a-half track like this. As Faircloth's still trying to go to the top side. This is the key to trying to get past him. He can't really make the move down low. He's been so quick on the top side.
He really has, but Jeff can take that lane away and kind of give him some air. Here, I think he can get it working, but there's just a bump right there. You go over, and it gets the car either tight or loose, and we see him get loose there off of turn number 2 or 4, and it just kills the momentum. You think you can carry it on the top, but I think the top's just better in 1 and 2.
Meanwhile, Noah Mahalski's putting some pressure on Keith Mayato. You know, something I'm noticing here, Alec, it looks like the spec maps are back. They may have fixed something with the spec maps. Those are looking pretty good on after this update. As battle for the lead still brewing here. It looks like, oh man, big hard run over the curb right there, or over the bumps rather.
Over the bumps right there. Jeff hit bottom there, and he went up, and so did Dennis. He caught it. I think you're right. I'm noticing the matte more shining on a lot of these cars, and the gloss shining a lot.
Yeah, the chrome is really popping. So nice update there from iRacing to get that back to kind of how it used to be. It looks like cloud cover's coming out for the moment. That'll bring the track temps a little bit down. That's what I think Faircloth will probably like to see. He can really just try and push it if the track temps stay reasonably low. But Jeff Wright holding them off for the moment. Let's take a look further back. James Loveland, Chris Samard, Max Cost, all inside the top 10, nose to tail. Good battle for position right there. Nobody's made a move just yet. Loveland peaking low. As
Kowalski got by Keith Mayato, and I think if you keep Mayato, you cannot afford to give up track position, especially the teammates of Jeff Wright, who you know are going to make it hard on you. You cannot afford to give up track position, and I think where he's at, we know Noah Mahalski's going to race him hard, and he's a teammate to Jeff Wright. I just feel like that could be a move that you don't want to, or a position you don't want to give up early in this race, unfortunately. I'm curious to see how much pace Mayato's going to have later in this run. We know Jeff's kind of pushing it to stay ahead of Faircloth here, but how much is he hurting his tires? How about Brody Hayes already up to 11th there, getting past Alan Dice off of 2?
Ooh, yeah, really tight move right there to get past, and nearly into the top 10. After starting at the tail end of the field, he leads Alan Dice, Cody Adkins, Eldon Stewart running in that 14th position. He said his first race in the Mountain Dew number 4 car. Not used to seeing a 4 car on track. Nice to see one out here tonight. The 46 of Dallas Sullivan going to look low on the apron. And behind them, the 13 of Jake Mackey as... I thought I saw something happen up here. Looks like that's Faircloth in the outside wall.
Yep. He got it there off of 2, but he kept it going, composite bodies. But now you're starting to see Keith Mayato pushing, try to get around Noah Mahalski, but you lose that spot, that tire saving, and we saw it last week at Iowa where he looked like he was right there with Jeff. He just gave up too much track position, and right here, now he's stuck behind, a teammate of Jeff right here. Mahalski's not going to let him go, and he doesn't have to, but I just think that's a valuable position that you don't want to give up, and he did, and I get it for saving tires, but I just think that could hurt him here in this long run because Noah Mahalski is going to fight you harder than maybe Dennis Faircloth will.
Yeah, and he's running right in the tire tracks of the 03. Little brush on the wall there, it looks like. Sparks flying. Ronnie Osber's coming right with him. So not letting the top few get away, and the top 5 still separated by just 1 second. So it's still a tight battle. Jeff Wright maybe starting to create a little bit of distance to the 80, but did have to push his tires there, run the middle line and higher. So we'll see how that affects him. Even a couple laps of doing that can play a huge role late in a run.
Again, we'll see how much it affects him here. Is off of 4, Faircloth, he's now the tires 15 laps into the run. They're really starting to feel the beating that he took on them using that outside lane. We'll see what Noah Mahalski does. This could be another thing for Keith Mayato, just kind of sit and bide his time. Let Mahalski try to get around Faircloth, and if he does, then right there, Faircloth gets the wall. And Mahalski has to check it, but it's not going to cost. It's going to cost Faircloth a lot of spots here. And broken suspension. He's in the wall. He might have a tire down or something, but now heavy damage to the 80 car who slapped the wall off of 4, and he's still dropping down the field.
Yeah, let's take a quick look at the replay of that incident. Did he make contact with? Did the 03 get into him here, or was it just A little bit too much off the corner. He caught the wall, and then no, Mahalski, great job avoiding him.
That was the second hit was the hit that was really bad for that suspension, and then it just kept getting worse and worse. But unfortunately there for Dennis, that you know, pushing those tires hard, you lose the grip, and then it just kind of snowballs from there. And right now, all the way from 2nd to 12th there, and now 13th as he loses another spot to Cody Atkins.
Yeah, we see this happen sometimes with Dennis, and I think you're right. Maybe just dial it back maybe 5%, and you got a better shot of staying up there with those guys. Even if you push the tires really hard to get there, you know, just back it off once you have the track position a little bit, and that can be key to keeping your race going. As look at Brody Hayes making up a lot of ground.
Yeah, shout out to Max Cost. Good qualifying effort and having a good run so far inside the top 10. And now battling Ray Massey to the inside of that 23 car. And like you said, Brody Hayes from the back already up into the 9th and might get the 2-for-1 special here if he can just bide his time right.
Yeah, Max working that top side. We're looking at the lap times, and Noah Mahalski, he's right there. They're closing back in on Jeff Wright.
Maybe your pick wasn't too far off. There's 1-2 right now, our picks, but Mahalski's starting to pressure Jeff Wright. I wonder if that's maybe Wright pushing those tires a little bit. It would be interesting to see. But Keith Mayotto tagging along right there with them. Now Wright going defensive into one, using that outside line a little bit more. Got to get that run off the corner. Ooh, Mahalski really loose on the bottom there.
Yeah, and any mistake like that, Keith Mayotto ready to pounce. Here he goes now, looks to the inside of turn number 3. And he's going to send it down in there. Maybe. Look at all that grip that Keith has right now. The 03 does not have.
Wow, that was incredible how hard he sent it in there, and it stuck no problem. And Mayotto back up to 2nd here, and now maybe a little bit better tires on the 36 car. Can he find a way to pressure Jeff? I don't know if you remember this, Adam, but a race we called, it was in the next gens at the time, but great battle between Zach Carr and Keith Mayotto here a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of battles with Keith Mayotto involved, and often one of those guys kind of lurking and makes his way forward. He started at the front. He started at the front a lot this season, but seems to give up a lot of track position early on in hopes of saving tires, and that hasn't always worked out. Didn't really work at Iowa last week, but it looks like at least for this part of the run, he is making some gains on the 48 machine, and he is right there now off turn 2.
Yeah, and looks like believe that was Ray Massey just got by Max Cost. Now Brody Hayes trying to get around him, and now Mayotto is all over Jeff Wright for the race lead. But what he needs to do here, he needs to find a way to get to that right rear quarter panel. You get to the bottom, you might lose one spot, and Jeff's going to do a good job try to cover that off. But now look at Mahalski going down to the bottom against the clean. And now Mayotto's there. Now any mistake from Wright, he catches that wall. Mayotto's got the lead.
Yeah, it's razor's edge out there right now for both of these drivers, running completely different lines. This time 48, kind of a late apex on this one. You can see the back end of that car maybe just starting to over-rotate. And the 36 not quite having that same issue. So that could be those few laps. And also he's been running the top here. Big hit over the bumps.
This could be a run here for Keith Mayotto if he could just keep the momentum here. Especially if Jeff Wright gets a little loose off the corner like that. He'll get a run. It's not going to be enough to get to him, but it'll at least keep him in the ballpark. Now Mayotto going to try something different. Go to the outside in third, 3, and 4. He's going to get over that bump right there. And let's see, Jeff Wright seems to be struggling a little bit more in turns 3 and 4 than he is 1 and 2.
And that time nice and strong though, not an issue for the 48. Got some battles further back. Dallas Sullivan using every inch of available real estate down there on the front stretch. Going to the inside of Eldon Stewart. Max Cost dropping a little bit here as he battles with Alan Dice. They're going to get very close off the corner. And Dice has to check up. Here comes Cody Atkins around the outside in the Dukes Mayonnaise Camaro. And they'll stay side by side back into turn number 3.
Teammates just Dice gets around Cody Atkins there and will kind of slot into 11. Looks 10th right ahead of him. That's Max Cost starting to drop back a little bit here. Logan Thurkeld's up to 9th here in the 54 car. Internet seems to be keeping him in it, so looking pretty good at the moment. Dice going up to the outside trying to get a run on Cost here. He's going to get it.
Yeah, has the
Here it
run,
comes.
carries it now to the inside, pointed towards turn number 3. Keeps it down low, Cost up there in the 3rd groove. And running through all of those bumps, not able to put the foot back to the throttle. It looks like Alan Dice has the spot, but here comes Cost with a big charge through the tri-oval. Not able to make it happen that time. He'll look now, they'll swap lanes. And still not going to be able to get the run there from the 63. He falls to 11th up at the front again. Jeff Wright stable about 2.5, 3 car lengths in front of the 36. And Keith just drifting up the track a little bit right there on exit. Could cost him some momentum.
Got caught in the dirty air right there at the 48. Now just trying to open up that gap a little bit more. How can Keith Auto get different from Jeff Wright on strategy? And I think it's a 1 lap difference. You do not want to short pit and by more than 1 lap. You don't want to over pit probably by more than 1 lap here. So manage that gap 3/4 tenths of a second. Keep Jeff Wright on his toes where you can short pit or stay on another lap and overcut.
Yeah, right now running about 1.6, 1.7 seconds off the fast times of the race. That's just going to continue to fall. Although we're probably close to the bottom of the cliff at this point. Maybe another half second or so in lap time to lose as this run goes on. Nearly a quarter of the way through. And these guys just clicking off laps.
A lot of seconds to fall off. It's a good amount of tire fall off. This Dice rolls by Logan Thrickell there. Dice really fast on this longer run. As this run goes on, I got some clean air to the nose. I've come might start gaining some time here, especially on Hayes and Mackey here. He's got clean air. If he could just put the lap times together. Alan Dice got some really good long run pace.
Yeah, this last time around, Noah Michalski, the fastest car on the track. The time before, it was Brody Hayes in the 8th spot. But yeah, good battling back here at the tail end of the top 10. And Thrickell not able to make that run work down low. You see Max Cost all over the back of Cody Atkins. And here comes Dallas Sullivan with the huge send to the inside.
Big move from Dallas. This could get tight here off of 4. But Cody sliding up. Now Max can have a big run. Dallas can go to the apron. It gets loose down there when you have all the tires. It doesn't work as much.
Yeah, it's sometimes hard to know where the other car is when they're coming up off the apron too. So that can lead to a lot of incidents headed into turn 1. We've seen in real NASCAR races, guys coming up off the apron on a restart and they made contact. I think it was Jimmy Johnson, Kevin Harvick here. Was that this track? Yeah. Yeah, and that led to cut tire, and it's just hard to judge, and you've got to come off that apron at some point.
I think Brody Hayes already up to 7 too. I mean, good pace out of 37. Would have been curious if he had started up, inside the top 5, what he would be able to do, especially where Jeff Wright just used to be a little bit slower. He's got clean air. You can afford to be a little bit slower if you got clean air. So maybe push those tires a little bit harder than you want to. This next run, though, he can kind of go his own pace. And Dennis Fairclough maybe forced the hand of the 48 to go up there. And I think we saw how much the clean air meant to Jeff Wright because he ended up starting to push that car a little bit harder when Fairclough went to challenge him for the lead.
And he has not been able to drive away from Keith Maiato. It's still a car length and a half, 2 car lengths maybe. Noah Michalski right there behind these two. He had gained a lot and then let the 36 on by. He's kind of stayed right in their tire tracks. Ronnie Osmer starting to fade a little bit off of these 3. Looking at lap times, just about half tenth slower than Jeff Wright. But then you see Ray Massey, Brody Hayes, they're still putting down fantastic lap times. The fastest 2 cars on the racetrack with the exact same lap.
He's got a run here. This might be an interesting patch here for the lead. Keith goes to the bottom, and man, he made it stick again on the bottom. And Keith Maiato, he's got to clear up here for the right, and he does just that. He'll have the preferred spot going into turn 1. He can pinch the 48 down, and what does Noah Michalski do? How about this? Keith Maiato with a power move into turn 3, and this time he'll get to the outside. Wright's going to try to clear up, but he's getting sideways. He's getting loose. Right in front of the 36, and he gets into the wall there. Maiato bumps him, but he does a great job sliding up in front of him, and now Maiato sends it back into 3 again. And this time he won't be able to clear. He cannot afford to lose a spot to Noah Mahalski here.
He got a good run, even not being able to clear. He's going to lead at the stripe, and he could do what Jeff Wright just did. Just send it down on this end of the racetrack, trying to, and Wright really sent it in on the top side.
Oh, he's going to get loose off the corner, Jeff, but he's able to power back around.
Here comes Mahalski.
What does he do? He decides to sit behind. Smart moves I'm noticing out of Noah Mahalski. I'm looking at him just kind of learn what Keith Maiato and Jeff Wright are doing. And right there, he could have easily taken that run, but thought better of it. Let these guys race. And so I can capitalize on this long run. I like what I'm seeing out of Noah Mahalski so far in this race. Back here, battle 5th, 6th, and 7th on the racetrack. How about Ray Massey and Brody Hayes? Some stellar pace out of that 37. Really, I mean, that car from where he started, he has really good pace. Having to go up through the field and still making passes. Those tires have really been put through a pressure washer, most likely, of getting up through the field.
Yeah, he is still flying. Yeah, pressure cooker. Pressure washer would be nice. He'd have clean tires. But he definitely making some good moves here. Able to get on by his teammate, move into the top 6. All the way from the tail end of the field. It's going to be interesting to see if they can make up a little bit more time coming close to lap 40. These guys will probably start making pit stops if they're going to do a 2-stop strategy.
5 or 6 laps. So look at Maiato down to the bottom. What a send to the bottom. Can he make it stick under Wright? Wright going to pinch him low. Maiato gets tight. They almost hit each other in the door. Now Maiato's going to get back up at least behind the 48 so he doesn't lose a spot to Mahalski, but he's got to be careful not turning right down the straightaway.
Yeah, really close trying to get the side draft, it looked like, and they nearly made some contact. Wright still, you can see the back end just rotating a little bit more every time he uses the top side. That's gonna, he might see that play a big role here, especially on entry. Maiato is just, he's gonna...
he gets bumped into him. Maiato gets hit, and they both slide. Maiato getting aggressive here, but that could have hurt those tires even more. And I don't know if Maiato has any damage because he got hit by the 03, but they keep it going.
Yeah, car looks okay. They barely made some contact. Let's take a look at the replay of that. That was as close a call as you'll get here in BTDY for a wreck for the lead. We haven't seen that happen in a while. Yeah, just
got tight on the bottom, lost all the side force there, and Wright's getting loose already, and he just kind of washes up into him. Just lost the nose, but you can really tell Jeff Wright is struggling with that car. He does not have the pace, and think about that last time, and now that slide even more is not going to help the 48, and really with that little bit of an incident kind of did, it brought Mahalski, those 3, it brought them back to Osmer and Ray Massey and Brody Hayes. They were 2-3 seconds back. Now they're only 1.5.
Yeah, Massey and Hayes were both 3 or 4 tenths faster than Jeff Wright after the lap with the slide, or a lap after that. Maiato as well, off pace a little bit because of that, but now they get some better laps put down. Still about a tenth slower than Ray Massey, so that 23 machine looking pretty strong here tonight at Chicagoland. The Clark Print Shop machine.
I think he's won a race here in another league, and Jeff Wright is pitting early. I would say that could help, but I'm not really sure. We'll see who else is going to come bringing in, but looks like Jeff Wright coming in, Keith Maiato coming in, everybody coming in. Oh, Jeff Wright hot into the pit road, under the brake. He made it stick, and look at all the cars behind him following suit.
Yeah, interesting to see some of these guys. Also, the guys that are better on the long run, like the 23, not electing to stay out.
Brody Hayes brought it in, but that could be a smart move. We talked about they were, 2-3 seconds off the pace almost? Brody Hayes came in. He might be able to jump all of them with how low their pace was, and that one end lap that he had was way faster than everybody else.
Yeah, you didn't have to compete with all those other cars for the real estate getting on the pit lane. Here comes Ronnie Osmer. Nice entry there. Right down to pit road speed. Cody Adkins going to be pulling in here as well. So keeping an eye on Brody Hayes coming off and around turns 1 and 2.
There's Keith. He's going to be full song to where Jeff Wright's just exiting. I think Brody Hayes is going to get the lead here. And one lap, now he has clean air in front of the 48. Can he manage it and keep Jeff Wright behind him here. This is going to be a good battle to watch from Brody Hayes. From starting last is going to get to the lead here once the cycle comes out, but he's going to have to hold off Jeff Wright.
You saw he was
tires.
He was really good in practice, and Dennis Faircloth is currently your race leader because he pit a lot earlier. Big bobble from Hayes. Got to be careful. He hasn't really experienced a lot of clean air tonight, so the car is going to be a little bit different. And here comes right now to the inside, trying to get back to the track position that he had. It's going to be interesting because
Brody doesn't have it.
Yeah, just not on the short run. Maybe he's going to cross back over. We'll see what he can do down into turn number 1. They're closing in on the 80. Maybe he can kind of box him in, and it's not going to work out that way. I think it's going to be the opposite effect, actually. Yep, that is exactly what happened there. Here comes another car off of pit lane.
Todd Giles off of pit road. Oh man, he got way up the racetrack now in front of Brody Hayes. Oh, that's gonna really hurt Hayes. And that's gonna allow my auto to have a huge run on both Faircloth and Hayes down the front stretch. He'll get Faircloth. I don't know if he'll get by Hayes here. And now Jeff Wright has a second lead over the two VSPEED cars, and I think Hayes is gonna let his teammate go by here. And now my auto has a little bit of clean air to kind of work with the second gap. Can he run down Jeff Wright, who we saw push the tires hard a little bit, maybe a little harder than my auto did? Could that be the difference? They pitted the same lap.
Yeah, tough to say, as we're going to see some battling further back here as well. Noah Mahalski, Dallas Sullivan, big winner in that cycle pit early. He's up to 6th. So the 46 machine trying to leapfrog a couple of cars. Ray Massey, though, right there behind. A lot of these guys ended up losing time net to Jeff Wright, even though they came in on the same lap. And here Massey's got to work through some traffic, so this is going to be tricky. The 46 up high, 14 down low. Not really anywhere for the 23 to run. The 80 also up there in the top groove. This is basically a roadblock.
Oh, a tight squeeze there off of turn number 4, but I think everybody will be able to make it by. Faircloth on the older tire, struggling here compared to everybody else who just came into pit road about 5 laps ago. There's Samard right behind these two battling, Sullivan and Massey. There's Dice, who I think I've said has had good pace. Ronnie Osmer with just staying out 1 extra lap. Holds all the way back to 9th and behind all these cars.
But he does have 1 lap fresher tires and was looking pretty good at the tail end of the run. Obviously helped by the slide, but how about out front? My auto's been able to slice into that 1 second lead. 48 probably trying to conserve, knowing he's got a little cushion to use up. But going to be interesting to see if Keith can get out there, get the clean air. Is he going to be able to control the race?
It'd be tough, I think, for Keith Mato, who looked faster that last run, but we saw Jeff push the tires a lot harder that first run, probably compared to what he's doing this next run. So I'm going to be very curious to see, can Keith Mato keep up with him now on even tires with Jeff Wright saving them? That's another difference. And Keith Mato's been in dirty air this whole entire race. Jeff Wright has yet to be in dirty air. So we'll see, but it's the 2 best right now in this series currently going to go at it. And who knows, this could be the last season we see the Xfinity cars. I think there's a lot of good changes coming to the next gen, a lot of good changes. Obviously, we saw today with the release of the new ARCA Menard series cars. I don't see the trucks ever coming up here, and I don't really want to see the trucks personally. But I think Xfinity obviously going to stay, but I think maybe ARCA Gen 4 we could possibly see come here as well. So we just never know. The next gen's been in this series before. This could be the last time we see these two be so good in these cars, but I wouldn't put past any of these guys to really be good in any car they get in.
Yeah, they have so much experience just across all of iRacing in any stock car, really. I would think you could probably put any of the top 5 or 6, 10 guys from this series in most of them, and you're going to have a great race. And that's been the case in the past. Here goes my auto now, close right up to the back bumper, using a groove higher. Still not able to get to the outside or build much of a run, but he is pushing the issue. Maybe going to cause Jeff Wright to push a little harder than he wants.
This could be something we don't know, we haven't really seen a lot, but how about both of these two pushing each other to go faster? And we can get around, get clean air. We see these guys conserve tires, but both of these guys pushing. Brody Hayes, give him credit, hasn't lost too much pace to these guys. And Mahalski, who I thought was a little bit faster than both of them, not about a second and a quarter behind them. Jeff Wright got the apron there. Mayato has a run. Can he get down to the inside? We saw what happened last time. There was some contact this time. Mayato sends it into turn number 3. He's going to get tight on that bottom there. Wright's going to have momentum, but he's going to stay even with them here off of 4. He'll at least cut down to his quarter panel. Mayato's going to run him up a little bit, try to get the side draft here into 1. Can he slide job him into turns 1 and 2 is the question. Wright really sink it in there, and he's going to be able to get momentum off of turn number 2.
But that upper groove just cooking the tires. Yeah, a little bit more tire wear, right? And that's what Keith's trying to do. He's committed to the bottom when he gets to the 48. And so that's really helped him maybe cool the tires back down. 48 maybe heats him up a little bit, and this kind of push and pull that we're seeing between these two so far in this one. To recap, we're nearly at halfway at 6 total lead changes, some of those through the pit cycle, but it has been a battle out in front between the 36 and the 48, and still no yellow flags have flown from Chicagoland tonight. So nice clean race, even with a tiny bit of contact battling for the lead. They still managed to keep it pointed in the right direction. Brody Hayes, like you said, he's come from the back all the way up to 3rd, and he's on 1 lap older tires. Starting to see some of the effects of that, but
I'll tell you this though, with the way these guys are racing at the front, how much you just give an advantage to a guy like Noah Mahalska, who, like we said, was a little bit faster than these two in the late stages of the last run. This run, you can kind of watch these two. Yeah, they're driving away from you a little bit, but if you're saving your tires and the way these two are pushing each other and their tires here, I could see Noah Mahalski getting right up to these 3 and maybe having a safer. I think Brody Hayes, even with 1 lap older tires, if he's just kind of riding behind these guys, we could have a 4-way battle for the lead, 30, 25 laps down the road here. And don't forget, Noah Mahalski and Brody Hayes have had their share of run-ins this season. So that's another battle to keep an eye on, especially just between these top 4.
yeah, looking at lap times as well, top 2 were actually slower than the rest of the top 7. Ronnie Osmer looking really good on the 1 lap fresher tires. He'll start to cut into that deficit, but right now back 3.2 seconds. It's going to be probably just a little too far back to overcome if he's not able to really save his stuff to the end of the run.
Yeah, well, I mean, what was it? Like a 2 seconds worth of fall off, so he gave up 2 seconds to get that 1 extra set of tires. Is it going to be 2 seconds worth? I don't think so. It could be a second worth, though. You just never know. It just depends the pace that Osmer has, but we'll see. He just lost, I feel like he lost some valuable track position to the 77 and the 23 who he was ahead of. So that's, I think, going to be tough passes that will use up a little bit of that extra tire advantage, but you never know. We'll see what happens as Dallas Sullivan fall into the clutches of his teammate Alan Dyke and then James Loveland and Cody Atkins not too far behind them battling.
Yeah, good battles all throughout.
Dyson has good pace here. Top 10 car for sure. Behind them, tell you what, Loveland is slipping and sliding around.
Yeah, he's got the 55 of Cody Atkins all over the back bumper, and then you've got to go back almost 5 seconds to Max Kost, who's not too far out in front of Logan Threlkeld, Jake Mackey. Dennis Faircloth has drifted all the way back to the 15th spot after being in the lead after the pit cycle was completed. But obviously much older tires than the leader's 10-lap older tires to be exact, and he had already been a bit further back in the field. As here we go, the 0-2 to the outside of Todd Giles Jr. Just trying to get by there, and he'll bring Cody Atkins alongside those two, battling to get the last spot in the top 10. As we just crack halfway, it is still close up at the front.
Might have race of the year contender for it. I think the biggest lead we've seen has been what, just like 9/8 of a second. I don't think it's been over a second. But, when everybody's kind of racing each other. I know the pit cycle, that might have been the biggest lead of the race, but when these guys are all together, I think the biggest lead I've seen has been 8/9 of a second. Other than that, it has been like this most of the race.
Look at Brody Hayes just charged the bottom of the racetrack. He was about 3/4 of a second back, now just on the back bumper of his teammate, trying to get to the 2nd spot. And they're all running slightly different grooves here. Mayato trying to use a little bit more momentum on the top side now as the 48's pulled a car length or 2 on him.
You look at those last lap times, Jeff Wright, Keith Mayato, they're in the 2s. Hayes, Mikulski, they are in the 1s.
Yeah, everybody very close on lap times right now. Cody Adkins was the fastest car on the track, back in 11th place. One lap tire advantage to the leaders, but yeah, just interesting to see how even it's gotten here at this exact point in the run. Wright with a nice lap that time. He goes fastest of anyone. Just recovering a little bit there after maybe overheating the tires.
Any charge that Keith Mayato can make, you know, it's just gonna hurt Jeff Wright and Mayato's tires, because Mayato's gonna try to make a move on Wright. Wright will have to get defensive. So we'll see. I'm just curious, how bad did Keith Mayato hurt those tires being in dirty air? We know just pushing to hold off Keith, but it's a little bit less of a wear and tear on the tires when you're in clean air. I know when Keith searches around to get clean air, a little bit of a help, but still, nonetheless, you're still getting a little bit of the effects of the dirty air from the 48. So
yeah,
I don't know, 20 more laps into this run is going to be interesting to see who can be better on this run. I think Jeff with the clean air will be better, but Brody Hayes has kind of just been sitting in third. If he can get by Mayato, what can he do? And what about Noah Mikulski as well? Still another question mark and an outlier here. Sitting in fourth, not too far behind Hayes, who pitted on the same lap as Keith and Jeff, has really not been doing too much, although this time I speak about him, he gets up into the outside wall. But we'll see how much he saved his tire right there. That's a costly mistake to get into the wall, because he got it pretty good, and he cost himself about a second.
Yeah, it's just trying to get that car back up to full song now into turn number 3. He lost about a half second because of that. How about the battle right behind him? That Massey and Samard really tight racing off turn 4. Chris gonna go all the way to the top side, and I think he's just gonna let Ray on by, maybe seeing how tight he's racing him here.
Ray Mackey was fast on that last run. Him and Hayes, I think, were better than Mikulski, Wright, and Mayato. And Hayes, even with one lap older tires, he gets stuck with Jeff Wright and Keith Mayato.
Yeah, I think those guys just a little bit better on the long run, and Jeff and Keith are pushing really hard. Here we go. Battle for second was looking like it was about to take place. Hayes looked to the inside, not quite there that time, but everybody's starting to close back in. You see Massey was about 3.5 seconds back. He's down to 2.1. Ronnie Osmer was also nearly up to 4 seconds behind, and he's down to 2.7. So those guys are coming. It's just a matter of whether or not they get there before we get to the pit cycle. As I don't really want to cut away to a commercial break, but we got to get the sponsors in at some point. Maybe after Brody Hayes settles back in line right here. That is what he's going to do. So we'll cut to side by side quickly, and we'll be right back with more racing action.
Sailor Tower Magic is the spot to get a reading from Sally, an intuitive healer and tarot reader. Known as the Nurturing Reader at New Jersey Street Fairs, you can also check out our YouTube channel for lunar and astro readings, as well as our Instagram for live weekly readings. Her rates are affordable, and you will leave with a newfound perspective. Sally is now offering an introductory class on tarot cards and intuition, and is available for parties. Call or text 732-314-0777 to schedule your reading today.
back at the racetrack for the Up There Disc Golf 180. It has been a fierce fight for the lead. Jeff Wright's been in control of this thing, but Keith Mayato and Brody Hayes have closed back in. Noah Mahalski still about 1 second back in fourth, and Ray Massey, the surprise, he's got the speed on the long run up into the top 5. Could have something to say for these top 4. It's been a fun one so far, and hope you've enjoyed. Make sure to like, share, subscribe if you do enjoy it, and cheer on your favorite driver here in the second half of this race. Let us know who you're rooting for, as Keith Mayato going to take another peek down low.
Hey Adam, what I'm finding interesting is Jeff Wright keeps giving Keith clean air in 3 and 4. 1 and 2, he doesn't do it as much, but in 3 and 4, Jeff will run that middle lane. Keith runs white, the white line, takes the left side on the white line. I'm noticing that, and that's been very interesting to watch. Their clock down pit road and getting service to his car, but see right here, Jeff just gives Keith the bottom. I know Jeff carries momentum, but I'm surprised because Keith, you give clean air to Keith. I mean, he drives almost right through his left rear quarter panel.
Yeah, he's been a little bit better at staying down there and committing to it, whereas the 48, you see him go a little higher up the racetrack, and even in this case, right, they both go high. 48 just a touch higher. Keith getting that air to the left front, and Jeff really using a lot of tire up there.
And unlike the next gen, if Keith was right there in the next gen, he would have went straight into the outside wall with the arrow weight, with the weight arrow push. These cars, you poke that left front headlight out of the dirty air of the car in front of you, and the car rotates still. It won't rotate as perfect, but it'll rotate decent enough. And we see keep trying to get that headlight poked out here, right here. He'll go just a little bit lower than Jeff, but Jeff does a good job taking the air away on the exit, and Keith keeps trying to get that clean air, just a little bit of clean air to the nose. And like I said, unlike the next gen, any little bit of dirty air touches the next gen nose, it's over. And the Xfinity car is just a lot different. Right here, especially, Keith can get to the bottom here, Jeff Wright. Jeff just gives him that lane, and Keith kind of just points it down to the bottom, and it's about, it's about as perfect of a situation for Keith as you can get. That last time, everybody's still turning 33s. I think Osmer at 4, even with the fresher tires, he's kind of stuck behind Samard. But last time when Ray Massey put together a clean lap, he had a 1 compared to these guys turning 3s. So Massey's coming. Is it just enough time before they get back to the pitting again? Because I think we're, I don't know, 10 laps at the most from guys coming back in.
Yeah, it might be interesting to see if somebody tries to short pit by 1 or 2 laps at this cycle, maybe right at lap number 80. Split it just perfectly into thirds. And it's interesting to see the cloud cover also out. That has brought track temp down even further than when we started. We were at 88, and it just continues to fall and continues to get dark under the cloud cover.
Midwest weather, I guess, but I'd love to
pop-up storm.
I'd love to see the sun come back out, because I think that would really make this racing even more great, because right now, track gets cool, it's tough to move around. This outside lane kind of becomes useless. You want to cut the track short, especially when it's cool. You get the sun beating on this track, any line's viable, but right now with cloud cover, it kind of fits more. It helps Jeff Wright out more, because clean air becomes more and more of an advantage when the track temp gets cooler. So we'll see here, and I think I brought this up in the break, and I brought it up to you. I said whoever can get clean air in this race, whether it's Mayato or Wright, I think wins this race. If Mayato short pits him here and gets the lead, we've seen how good Keith's been on these long runs. I think it would be tough, but he could hold off Jeff Wright. If Dallas Sullivan coming in pit road, this could be the start, and like you said, cut it directly into thirds.
Yeah, he had a close call getting on the pit lane here. I don't know if you... Oh, as Alan Dice caught the wall outside of him. But you can see Dallas...
I want to see Brody Hayes maybe wants to short pit these guys, or even Noah Mahalski.
Yeah, keep an eye.
Dallas coming in.
Yeah, he went full Tokyo Drift on the pit entry right there. Looks like Alan Dice is going to bring it in next. He's going to be a little bit more tidy getting on the pit lane. But yeah, it's going to come down to potentially who pits first out of the top few.
Whoever pits first in this group here is going to get the lead. Whether it's if Jeff pits first, then he's going to keep the lead. If Keith pits first, he's going to get the lead. And if Brody pits here, he's probably going to get the lead. And if Mahalski can risk it. He could, but it would be much closer compared to the other three that are only separated by 7/10. That's going to be more than enough. 1.4 is close, but I don't think it's going to be good enough compared to Jeff Wright. He's almost 2 seconds off, so it's possible here for Noah if he pits to get the lead.
The sun just came out for a second there, and that'll start to heat the track back up. That may be the catalyst for some of these guys to bring it down pit road. Seeing here comes Brody Hayes.
Yeah,
he saw the sun come out.
I like that. It's a good decision. Can't make a mistake here. Nice pit entry for Brody Hayes, I think, and Mahalski following with them. These two might be able to jump Jeff Wright and Keith Maiato here, who are going to have no choice but to counteract that. They have to come in this time. They cannot afford to give up too much time. I got to think these two are going to pit together. Great call, great audible from Brody Hayes to come in and jump these two. Now I would expect Jeff Wright and Keith Maiato to pit, and they don't. They stay out another lap.
Wow, that is a fascinating move by these teams to keep their cars on the racetrack. As coming off a pit lane, let's look at.
Oscar came in too. That might jump those three up ahead now. 2/10 still separating these top two. I mean, now you have to pit. You cannot afford to give up too many more laps.
Wow, Brody Hayes, much better exchange on pit lane. Mahalski just getting onto the straightaway. Huge turn of events between those two. They're staying on the track up in the front.
I don't know, man. I get it. They'll be on offense, but they're for sure going to be in 4th and 5th now. You're going to be charging here, and I know I like what Keith Maiato's doing. He's just mirroring what the 48 team's doing. That makes sense. But if you're Jeff Wright, I know you've been. I cannot say he's been the fastest car today. I really cannot. I don't think he's been the best car in the long run here. Now he's going to. I think he's coming in this time by, but 2 laps here. That's a lot. Be interesting to see. I know that Keith Maiato is going to come in here with him. Here they come, both of them. And Jeff Wright hard in. Keith Maiato comes in as well. He lost a little bit, not too much, but a little bit here. Now it's up to the crews to deliver here. And Brody Hayes just already coming around the racetrack here. He's going into turn 1. Noah Mahalski's going into 1, and so is Ronnie Osper. Where do these two cycle out? Barely coming down to their pit boxes. Got to execute perfectly. Cannot miss your stall. And both of them perfectly in pit road. No, not an issue there. And luckily for Hayes, he had no traffic ahead of him. Mahalski doesn't have any traffic. Neither did Ronnie Osmer. We'll see where they exit pit lane. The left sides are up. Then they're down. Both of them away. What a pit stop from the 36 crew. He gets right next to Jeff Wright on the exit of pit road.
And Wright can't get through the gears.
Look at that. It's right off of pit road at Chicagoland. Now Wright powering around the outside lane on the access road. They door bang the pit road. And Wright gets ahead.
Wow, and they're all the way back to 4th and 5th, just like you called. Here comes Chris Samard. This could be a big factor if Chris could somehow, with full speed here, get to the outside. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Ray Massey not too far back. He's been able to close a little bit of distance to the 36 and the 48.
5 seconds behind Brody Hayes, who's been better on the long run all race.
Wow.
Can they do it? They're going to be hauling the mail, but how long will it take for them to get up there? Ronnie Osmer and Noah Mahalski still ahead of them to get to Brody Hayes.
And they got 3-lap fresher tires than the top 3.
But now Jeff Wright's going to have to deal with a little bit of dirty air here. Not a lot, but a little bit. We haven't seen the 48 have to get around other cars much. We've seen Maiato be at least behind the 48. We've seen the 37 have to get through the entire field.
Oh.
So, I mean,
Maiato,
both of them.
Both of them caught the apron just a little bit. Maiato closing the distance down to 1 car length. And yeah, I was saying before too, Ray Massey's not too far back. He's only got a 1-lap tire deficit, and he was pretty great on the long run. So now that he's closed the distance, he could be a factor. So that'll be interesting to watch if the 23 can get up here and battle with these two.
You know what this race reminds me of? 2018 Chicagoland, the big 3, in our case, the big 2. But then you had a bunch of other players kind of be involved in that race, so what led up to an exciting, amazing finish. I think we have a good finish on our hands here tonight. We've had a great race on our hands here tonight between these two, the 2 best in the series. But man, oh man, what great racing here. And these two still pushing each other. These guys are really pushing the issue here, and my auto is forcing Jeff Wright to probably go harder than he wants.
Yeah, and they're about to catch up to Ronnie Osmer. This will be the battle for third place. Ronnie's not going to be able to put up too much of a fight, I don't think. He's running about 0.2 of a second per lap slower, but he might be able to put his car right in the way that it's tough for either of these guys to make a move. If he can run kind of the middle or the high side, these guys, even as fast as they are, might not be able to complete the pass.
Well, let's see, this last lap, they were in the 30.9s, both of them. This time, got a little bit closer to the 20, and they're still in the 30.9s, but now let's see what Ronnie Osmer does. He goes middle here. Jeff Wright, I think, is going to get to his outside here on exit. If not, he's going to cross him over here.
Oh, he might catch the wall.
Oh, man, he got close here. Ooh, Ronnie going defensive here. Oh, there's contact. Wow. Jeff Wright putting the bumper to him into 3.
Yeah, we'll see how Ronnie feels about that. Looks like he's coming down the racetrack. Going to try and maybe get to his bumper, but not able to. And now a car between the 48 and the 36.
My auto's got to get around Ronnie Osmer here. He's got to get around him quick. Can't lose touch to that 48 here. 3-lap tire difference. Use it to your advantage here. Here you go. Get it into turn 3 here. You won't lose too much time. You'll only lose about a tenth, a car length or 2 to the 48 here. And I think this time he'll have no issue going by. And there it is.
Yeah, Keith has been really strong on the entry to turn 3. There's been many laps. He's gained 3 or 4 car lengths on the 48. It's just getting by. It's the hardest part. And these guys have cut the deficit now down to under 2 seconds. Brody Hayes is... Yeah, maybe Brody.
Off of 4.
Could be the. Oh boy.
Oh, look at him. It's been going out all season. Wrecking down the backstretch. They gotta watch the rejoin. Jeff Wright and Kid Mayer are coming by them, and they do get by. But this could be big. Brody Hayes not happy. Mike Mahowski hits him, but they keep going, and the two that have feuded all season get into each other again. And they hand Wright and Mayato the top 2 spots again.
Got to give it to them. They didn't make contact with the inside wall, so great job saving their cars, keeping their race alive. But they're...
See, Brody is not happy with that. And now, hey, they're about to get battling again. This could be interesting when they get back to it again, because Mahalski has ran. Ooh, right there, another shot. And Mahalski has ran Brody Hayes back down again. And I don't think Hayes appreciated what Mahalski did, and I don't think Mahalski appreciated what happened there as well. This could be very interesting in front of Dallas Sullivan. I want to see this race go green. These two, like I said, they feuded all year, and this right here, hopefully it doesn't get ugly, but I think this is going to get ugly.
It's looking like it very well could. As they head towards turn number 3, the 03 of Mahalski to the inside. Brody up on the top side. He's going to race him hard here, seeing what just happened. And no give, no take here. Or all take, no give, rather. As he's going to be able to hold on to the position. Out in front, Mayato behind by about 0.4 of a second. And oh, man, really tight down into turn 1. Oh, boy.
Oh, man.
Almost a mirror image of what we saw right there.
This is a ticking time bomb right here, ready to explode. This is hard racing, but these two, they're a little hot under the collar with each other right now. This could get bad really quick for both of these drivers.
Yeah, and that was really, I mean, they had a chance to win this thing. I know there's still 25 to go, but they had the track position, and the tires do eventually start to level out a little bit. And the 48 and the 36 were going to have to push so hard, so they've really cost themselves a shot at this as Brody gets into the outside wall just a little bit there off turn 2. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, man.
Further back. Yeah, Dallas Sullivan, Cody Adkins also battling right behind very tightly. Off turn 4. Mahalski not able to clear. I'm surprised.
He's going to have to do a smart job.
Surprised Brody doesn't have more damage, seeing his car kind of jumped up in the air like that, catching the tire of the 03.
I'm surprised both of them don't have more damage than what they do here. Hayes going to get back to the outside of the 03, and Mahalski is probably not going to be happy here. And you can see, running him tight down the back stretch here, try to side draft him into 3.
This race is at a little bit of everything, and he's going to be not able to clear. Can Hayes stay alongside? He's still on the quarter panel, back into turn number 1.
Mahalski could throw it in here and just clear the 37 here, although 37 is going to have a heck of a run down the backstretch here.
I don't think he's going to give him anything.
Oh, look at that.
He didn't give him anything. He did check up a little bit, and
He arcs him out there in the 3. That could just be what he needs to clear 37. But 37 is coming back on the inside here. Going to get tight in the dirty area.
he catches the wall.
Hayes getting right behind him here into 1. Chasing each other into 1. No, I think that's going to be all the battle. Because now Mahovsky's able to clear. He has surprisingly a little bit older tire, but I think that slide for Brody Hayes probably was the difference. And with 20 to go, it's going to be tough to get back around him here.
yeah, you got to wonder if the 03 is just pushing really hard to just try and create some separation, and that could cost him in the final couple of laps. Brody's not really falling behind. He's just a car length and a half. But yeah, it is going to be tough to get back by with the dirty hair now on the nose of the 37 out in front. Mayato's seeing the distance increase just a little bit up to the 48.
Question is, how much are they pushing? How much is Mayato pushing? How much is Jeff Wright pushing is the question. And I think it really helped that both of these guys that had Mahovsky and Hayes take each other out there. Maybe when Mayato was trying to push Jeff Wright to go, that could have been the difference right here, because right now Jeff Wright's opening up that gap, still in the 31.9s. Mayato back down to the 30 or back into the 32s. So that gap continuing to increase. Can Mayato reel him in? And how about Ray Massey? We're reeling in Ronnie Osmer for 3rd.
That would be a very impressive run for the 23. Started in the 13th spot, and he's been one of the best on the long run all day. And we'll see if he can close up even a little bit more if he can get by the 20. He's got 2-lap tire advantage on Osmer, but he's still at a deficit.
Got a lot better long run pace as well, so we'll have to really see. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a tough pass because Osmer's not an easy one, but that tire advantage might be what Ray Massey needs. And how about Ray Massey? I think he'd be definitely one of his best finishes of the year. He's had some good finishes, he's had some bad finishes. Still a chaser. This is going to be a good point stay here. And Ronnie Osmer also sitting 2nd in points. He's going to lose a little bit here to keep my eye on him, but still nonetheless, a good point stay.
Yeah, they were very close coming in. Mayato, I think, just 1 point behind Osmer, really as a result of Iowa and that incident that happened on the restart.
He's caught Noah Mahovsky again. Sorry, I cut you out there, but I saw it and I was like, oh boy.
Yeah, this is going to be a ticking time bomb, I think. If Brody can't make a pass back on him and he's faster, he may just lose all his patience. So we'll see what happens.
He's not afraid to use the bumper, so we'll see. But I think that's something we're going to have to keep our eye on this entire right now. Jeff Wright's praying these guys keep it clean, and I think these two are a little bit better than not wrecking each other, but hey, sometimes the head get a little hot. Sometimes it just happens. Get together, contact. Racing's a contact sport, and these two have been. They've shown the history of getting together.
Yeah, just another chapter in their story here with the contact coming off of turn number 2. Big slide down the backstretch for Hayes, and back to 6th and 7th. Still a solid run for both of them. I mean, Brody has had a crazy night here. Went all the way to the back to serve the penalty. Charged all the way to the front. He's been right up there in contention and was leading the race when that happened. That's just it's wild. It's still not over. Still 14 laps to go in this one. And Jeff Wright.
Sorry, Chris. How about Chris Smart? Shout out to him.
Yeah.
For all the chaos, he's just been calm, cool, and collected.
Often how Chris is. Just he's very apologetic to the drivers, even if he's not causing problems. You know, he likes to be a little bit unproblematic, run his race, and he's been good and solid on the long run today as well. And that shows here, running in the top 5.
And sorry, I cut you out there. What were we about to say about Jeff? We were about to say that lead's getting cut down a little bit. It is because flat traffic. Jake Mackey kind of racing Jeff Wright here a little bit. This could be Keith Mayato's, big chance. But Jeff Wright's probably going to clear here into turn number 3, and maybe won't be able to clear up off of 4. And right here, Mac is just not going to have the grip. And I think now I would have to assume he'll probably let Keith Mayata go. And it's always the case of lappers always race the leader much harder than they do second place.
Yeah, that is for sure. They want to try and stay on the lead lap, and once that hope is gone, it's kind of like, yeah, all right, I'll let you on by.
And Keith cut down 4/10 and get to him within these last 10 laps or so.
Yeah, it's gonna be
He's
tough.
Had a better lap. He had a better long run car. Can he muster enough? And if he needs to, we've seen them make contact already. Is it possible? How about Ray Massey now underneath Ronnie Osmer for third here?
Battle for the podium, the 23, Ray Massey. Really coming up the racetrack, side by side into turn number 1. Gonna have to send it down deep, doesn't do it. The 20 of Osmer keeps it wound up on the top side.
See contact already off of turn 2, so almost a little bit more there as Massey pulls up next to him. This is probably, you want to be on that bottom here into turns 3 over, less bumps to go over. Right here though, you pin him down, won't be able to get in the gas as quick. And as that's happening, Chris Samard's starting to reel these guys in. That time 2/10 out of that gap, and still almost tour banging each other down the front stretch here. Can maybe Massey try a slide job?
Yeah, this race has not disappointed. We've seen battles everywhere, and a battle for the lead that's pretty much lasted the entire race. I mean, the 48 and the 36 have been glued to each other, even sometimes making contact. I think they've made contact twice, and neither of them have wrecked or gone around or even really gotten any damage. But has been an exciting race here at Chicagoland.
That pit entry could have been something that Keith Mayata might want to have back as well. And though still 0.3 of a second still separating these top two. Can Keith Mayata reel in Jeff Wright here? And still battles all over this racetrack. I mean, this track is, you know, I think this is the most I've seen this track widen out and everybody kind of use different grooves. I'm really happy to see that, and I think that's something we've been missing at a lot of these racetracks, and I think it's good to see. I wish we would have had the updated Kansas when we went there a couple of weeks ago and how much different that race could have played out maybe. But nonetheless, Chicagoland proving why it should still be on the schedule, but not disappointing here tonight as Massey still trying to find a way around Ronnie Osmer here for third, and then Chris Samard 6-7 back here. You know, just waiting in the wings if these two get to racing each other or these two get together. Oh, Ronnie got the wall there.
Yeah, and the 23 had to check up just a little bit to stay out of him. As Keith Mayata, looks like he maybe put the pedal down that time into turn number 3, really dove it in deep, closed up about 1/10.5, and then he's going to lose a good chunk of that back on the front straightaway, but still a little bit closer this time. Going to be getting close to 5 laps to go, and the distance has not really shrunk all that much. You see he's trying to use the top side now, get a little draft maybe down the backstretch. Just going to have to find some way to gain a 10th here and a 10th there. And Jeff Wright, he's not really in the giving mood, not going to give up a lot of time.
No. We'll see there. He's doing a good job taking the air away from Mayata in 3 and 4. I think that's where you can really affect the cars with aerodynamically is in 3 and 4. That last time, a 10th there, that last lap. 1 and 2, it's, you know, Keith's a little bit higher. He's using that momentum a little bit more, but in 3 and 4, Jeff's better. 1 and 2, Keith Mayata's better. But Wright can't afford to make a mistake, get up into the wall, because Keith Mayata's going to be right there. And behind them, as we come to 5 to go this time by, I mean, Ray Massey and Ronnie Osmer are still going out. They've been side by side for the last 2 laps. Just can't seem to get around him. Osmer doing a great job, doing his best Ryan Newman impression, trying to keep that 23 on that bottom, keep him pinched.
Yeah, and Chris Samard is closing in. He's only about 10 car lengths back from these two. And also running pretty strong lap times, fairly close to the leader's time. So Samard putting down some good, nice hot laps here late. And 5 laps to go as Massey trying to clear.
Just couldn't do it. Osmer got really loose off the corner in there. Now Massey, he's got a good position on him where he could just slide job here. Can he slide up in front of the 20 here? 20's going to be using that middle lane. Going to get a run, but I don't think it's going to be enough. And Ray Massey's going to move up to 3rd. I think we've talked to Ray this year much, and it's going to be good if we can get this 3rd place to talk to him. Although Osmer's not done yet, but now Massey takes that air away.
And Osmer going to try and work just a little bit higher up the racetrack. Ray Massey, though, in control of the position. He's controlling the air, like you said. Out in front, going to be coming back to 3 laps to go. Jeff Wright's lead still just under half a second. And it'll tick right over half a second as we come to the stripe. these guys have put on an incredible battle for us all night long, and it looks like Jeff Wright may be on the winning end of this one unless Keith Mayato can pull a couple of qualifying laps out of his car, but don't know that that's going to be the case. These guys pretty much running at the limit all run long.
Yeah, just made you wonder when Keith was behind Jeff Wright if he burned his tires off too much being in the dirty air of the 48, but I give credit to Keith. He's really kept Jeff on his toes all race. 2 to go. He's going to have to pull some magic here if he wants to win this race, but you never know. It's possible Jeff Wright doesn't make many mistakes, but if he just gives up a little bit here, Keith Mayato will be right there. And who knows what this race could have been if Brody Hayes and Noah Mahovsky don't make contact. Maybe right now we're talking about Jeff Wright and Keith Mayato having to battle those two for the win here, but we'll just never know. 4 tenths the gap here, and now 1 lap to go. Can Keith Mayato just pull out enough? Can he get enough out of that 36 car to get the win, although he lost a little bit that last time?
Yeah, white flag is in the air from Chicagoland for the Up There Disc Golf 180. Race number 3 of the chase. Jeff Wright trying to keep things perfect in the 48 camp as he's won the last 2. The first 2 of the chase. And trying to go for his 3rd in a row. As we have a battle for 4th. Osmer and Samard further back. But out of turn number 4, it is going to be all the 48 machine. Jeff Wright, clean sailing here. And he'll take the checkered flag at Chicagoland. Keith Mayato 2nd. Ray Massey will come home in 3rd. And the battle to the stripe is going to be Chris Samard coming home in the 4th spot. What a run for him.
What a battle there for those guys. Those guys hit the wall, got loose off of 4. And this will be interesting as Hayes comes across the line in 8th. Noah Mahovsky 6th. Cody Atkins, how about 7th?
Yeah,
for that team?
I have a feeling Brody might have tried something late in the going there. He was right behind Mahalski, so
might be a little. Well, this will be interesting because 37's coming back up to the 03. Just blow by him. I don't think too happy, and I'm sure might be a little bit of little stray words shared with these two in the old Hash It Out channel. But Jeff Wright, another one, 9th win on season, finally gets that 3 in a row, dominating fashion on the stat board. But man, Keith Mayato was definitely here in this race, and he fought his heart out, man. What a race here. We were treated to maybe one of the best races of the season right there.
Yeah, very competitive. Only 18 cars in the field tonight. We ended up with 12 on the lead lap, and it looks like 15 still in the race, and they put on that kind of show for us. BTDY Night in America at the fullest here tonight, and what a fun show. We'll be right back to interview the top 3 and go through our race results right after a quick commercial break.
Sailor Tarot Magic is the spot to get a reading from Sally, an intuitive healer and tarot reader, known as the Nurturing Reader at New Jersey Street Fairs. You can also check out our YouTube channel for lunar and astro readings, as well as our Instagram for live weekly readings. Her rates are affordable, and you will leave with a newfound perspective. Sally is now offering an introductory class on tarot cards and intuition, and is available for parties. Call or text 732-314-0777 to schedule your reading today.
Back at Chicagoland Speedway for the Up There Disc Golf 180, tonight's race. What a fantastic event we saw. Battle for the win goes to Jeff Wright, who started in that second spot and really never looked back, leading over 100 laps tonight. Keith Mayato, though, was right there on his tail all race long. He'll come home in the second position. Finishing third tonight was Ray Massey. Chris Samard finishing in the fourth spot tonight. Strong run for him. Ronnie Osmer with a top 5. Noah Mahalski going to come home in 6th. 7th was Cody Adkins. Brody Hayes finishes in the 8th spot. Dallas Sullivan is 9th. And rounding out the top 10 was Alan Dice.
And in 11th was James Loveland. Max Cost comes home in 12th. Jake Mackey was 13th. Logan Thurkeld was 14th. And then Todd Giles Jr. 15th. And then the couple cars that I believe finished the race much, and that was Dennis Faircloth at 6th. We got a great start to the beginning of this race and even led a lap. And then Elvin Stewart, rough go for his first career start in 17th. Michael Jones was 18th, and I did not participate. I was here at the track, but I was not on the racetrack, but apparently I got 19th. Other than that, though, what a great race we saw tonight. And we're going to move up to talk to our third place finisher, Ray Massey. Ray Massey, Alec Martinez out of Baker in the VSPEED booth. You got a copy, buddy?
I got you guys.
Well, you started 13th, come home third, 10 spots up from your starting position. Great battling there with Ronnie Osmer and Chris Samard there. Gets up to third. What more did you maybe need to get to that 48 and 36, which seemed like you maybe had a little bit of pace for, maybe a little bit better pace than those two in the long run?
Yeah, like I need 100% fuel, not 80% fuel. I'm really good on long runs, and I need the longer the run, the better. So, yeah, I'm exhausted. That was hard battling. Me and Ronnie had a blast. I told him that was awesome racing side by side. He's a tough competitor for sure.
Absolutely, looked like a good battle. Next week, road course at Watkins Glen. How do you feel about going out there and maybe trying to back this run up a little bit and seeing what you can do there?
I'm not a road course guy. I try and take care of my stuff, keep it on the track, and normally that lands a top 10. I'm decent speed, but I'm not anywhere competitive. So I'll ride it out, take care of it, and hope for the best.
Absolutely. Well, it's been good to talk to you, Ray. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to here tonight for tonight's performance?
Oh, yeah. I always thank Chris, my spotter, my dad. He does crew chief role with field strategy and stuff like that. So they're in Discord with me. And I've got real life sponsors. Clark Print Shop, that's my brother-in-law's business. He does bulk printing, wedding invitations, graduation announcements, anything like that. He'll give you 23% off your first order if you use code iRacing. And then Walking and Rolling Costumes, we got a partnership with them through Chris, my spotter. So shout out to them. And we're still thinking about Seth, wishing him the best, and I hope he gets back with us soon. And thank you guys in the booth. You guys do a great job on VSPEED.
Well, we appreciate it, man. And yes, continue prayers for Seth. Well, we appreciate your time, Ray. Again, congratulations on the podium, and we look forward to hopefully seeing you next week at Watkins Glen, maybe talking to you soon.
Sounds good. Thank you, Alec.
Thank you, Ray. That's Ray Massey, third place finisher here at Chicagoland. Go down to our second place finisher, Keith Mayato. Adam, I believe you're standing with him.
Yep, we got Keith here. This is Adam and Alec in the VSPEED booth. You got a copy.
10-4.
Well, Keith, you had a fantastic battle tonight, right on the tail of the 48 machine all night long. You were able to get past him a couple of times, and ultimately came down to just a few car lengths there at the end of the race. What did you need different to maybe keep the nose out in front of him and ultimately get a win here tonight?
Just be a dirty driver and drive right through him. That's pretty. I had my chance, but I couldn't do that. It was literally down to mistakes, and he didn't make any. Right? It was, and he was talking about dirty air. I was in dirty air pretty much the whole night, so I don't know what it was like to be in clean air. But yeah, it was a tough battle. It was a lot of fun. It got a little dicey sometimes, but we kept it straight.
Yeah, a couple little bits of contact, but really great to see clean racing like that for so many laps. Lap after lap, you guys were side by side in this race, and Brody Hayes up there in the mix at a certain point as well. And we go to Watkins Glen next week, a very different kind of track, but road course is kind of in your wheelhouse there, Keith. How do you feel about going out there?
I'm usually not very good at Watkins Glen, but maybe I got to practice, and maybe that's my chance to chip into Jeff's lead there. I know he's got a hefty buffer between first and second. I don't even know if I'm second right now, but I'm sure he's north of 50 points. So we gotta chip away at that. The races are counting down.
Yeah, it was a pretty good margin coming into tonight's race. It looks like we're right at 50 points. You are up to second in the standings after tonight's race. Come home second behind the 48 machine, and able to solidify a good solid finish here. Anybody you want to give a shout out to for the run tonight?
Yeah, shout out to Up There Disc Golf for sponsoring the race tonight. To Jeff, awesome battle tonight with him. That was a lot of fun. My VSPEED teammates and yourself and Alec doing an awesome job in the broadcast booth.
Awesome, Keith. Well, thanks for taking some time here, and congrats on second place. We'll catch you at the Glen next week.
Thanks, Adam. Take care.
Thank you. That is your second place finisher, Keith Mayato. We're going to go to our race winner, burning it down here at the start-finish line. Alec, I believe you're with him.
Yes, sir, we are. Jeff Wright, Adam Baker in the VSPEED booth. You got a copy, buddy?
I got a copy.
Well, man, another win, 3 in a row finally for you. And ninth win on the season. How about that battle between you and Keith Mayato most of that race?
Yeah, that was intense. The entire 120 laps we went tonight. So I knew that clean air was going to be big tonight. I didn't think it was going to be as. I knew it was going to be important, but it was way more important than I ever thought. I don't know if it's because of the setup tonight, but if it wasn't for the clean air tonight, I think Keith probably would have ran away with this one. He was, on my tail the entire race, and I had the clean air, and I was still, pushing crazy tight. And you could really see at the end of the fuel runs how much better Keith was, but it was just, I feel like the clean air was just enough of an advantage that we were able to stay clear of him. But each pit stop I came in, I was looking at the right front tire, and it was just absolutely scorched to death. So, yeah, fortunate we were able to get the lead out of the gate there, starting from second, just having a good enough jump on the initial start of the race that we kind of, were in the driver's seat for the entire race. But if I was back in traffic, I don't know if I could have hung on for a win tonight. It's impressive to see guys like Ray Massey, drove up from 13th up to third. He had a lot of dirty air back there, but he was still quick. And obviously, yeah, the battle with Keith just a ton of fun, and appreciate him keeping it clean. We rubbed doors a few times, but that's just racing, right?
Absolutely, I would have to agree with you. Now, next week it'll definitely be road racing. How do you feel about going out there trying to get 4 in a row at Watkins Glen?
Yeah, Watkins Glen's it's an okay track for me. It's not my favorite road course out there. Struggled a little bit at Mid Ohio. That was, I think, our worst run of the season. So, yeah, hopefully we can, at least be up in the mix. Try to compete for the win. If not, try to get ourselves a solid top 5 and just keep the solid points, or get a solid point stay out of it. Not have any problems or things like that. I know Watkins Glen has been a bad track for me in BTDY. I feel like I've wrecked out a handful of times, just mistakes of my own. So got to go there and just be clean, hit my marks, and try to stay out of trouble and just try to retain the points lead here.
For sure. Well, we appreciate your time, Jeff, and again, congratulations on the win. And I'm sure we'll probably be talking to you next week out at Watkins Glen. But does anybody want to give a shout out to here tonight?
Yeah, big thanks to you guys first and foremost, you, Alec, and Adam up in the booth. As always, here with VSPEED, we appreciate the coverage. You guys do awesome work, and sponsor tonight's race, KHIO, and then all the rest of the league sponsors too that make this thing happen. So Affinity for Gaming, Up There Disc Golf, Solitaire Magic, and Icon Apparel. Couldn't have these shows without their support, and then obviously just the league admins putting in all the time, effort, and the money that they sink in this thing so that we have a league to race on Tuesday night. So big thanks to those guys as well.
Absolutely. Hey, well, we appreciate your time, Jeff. Again, congratulations on another win, and we look forward to probably talking to you next week at Watkins Glen.
All right, we'll see you. Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you, Jeff. That's Jeff Wright, your race winner. Adam, next week, your home track and probably your favorite track on the schedule, Watkins Glen. It's going to be a fun race, and I can't wait to see. And I think there's going to be a lot of players in that race. We saw a great race at Mid Ohio. I'm really excited to see what we can have at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, it's a great equalizer to go to a road course in a stock car. There's some guys that are really, really good at it, but everybody's kind of just, they're just trying to get around there in these behemoths of automobiles. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I love that track. Like you said, it is my home track, and I would be racing it if I could, but probably not going to be the case next week. It'll be fun to call the action if it so requires. But what a fun race tonight at Chicagoland. Let's not move past that. It was such a great show from these guys, these championship contenders putting on a battle.
Absolutely. I mean, it may have been a short field, but like we say, short field, but never short on action here at BTDY. And we saw that great battle with Jeff Wright, Keith Mayato, and then, of course, just the different comers and goers. We had Ray Massey and Ronnie Osmer battling, Chris Samar quietly finishing fourth, and then obviously the battle between Noah Mahalski and Brody Hayes on what could have been. So, answers we'll never know, but man, what great racing, a lot of storylines here and what's been happening, but man, it's been awesome, and I'm glad to call it with you, Adam. And whew, we are getting some great racing action here, and really, getting treated to some great shows.
Yeah, definitely a fun night tonight, and great to have you back in the booth with me a couple of weeks in a row now. So, yeah, just thanks for tuning in, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the race as much as we did here in the VSPEED booth. Big shout out to everybody on the VSPEED crew. That's Bradley Cooper, Logan Threlkeld, Eddie Smith, Morgan Cook, Alec Martinez, myself. Bringing you the action, and all the great sponsors and the folks here at BTDY for allowing us to put on the action as well for you tonight. So thanks for tuning in. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and we will catch you all on the track.